Shalom, all praises unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachar Kodash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and shalom to the hopeful elect Akim that are teaching this word. Shalom Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachar Kodash. Now, in this video is a video of these Jakes that are talking about basically, so-called West Indians and how they're athletically gifted, they're of Jamaican heritage, which we know that's the tribe of Benjamin, and basically going into the fact that they're athletically gifted, right? They mention their parents and everything, and then they mentioned some points, in the video. But it just made me think basically, that, the scriptures talk about the differences between Jacob and Esau, all right? And one of the differences is that basically we're superior to them physically, but also just overall we're better than Esau and the other nations, all right? We're overall just better than them. One people shall be stronger than the other. And that doesn't just mean physically stronger. Also, goes into, spiritually stronger also, all right? So these things all matter, man. See? And that's another reason why these nations hate us, because we're physically superior to them, physically, mentally, so they have to make tumults against our people, all right? And then what they like to do now in this system, especially now that we're at the end, all they're talking about is race, get rid of the blacks, get rid of the ethnics, the illegal migrants, but then they're directing that to all people, all Jakes, shall I say, all right? But the point what I was going to say is they have to make tumults against our people. The scriptures tell you that in the book of Psalms, that the nations have to make a tumult, man. All right? It takes all the nations to keep Israel down, man. Because Esau is the main culprit at this present time, but he has cohorts, man. All the rest of the other nations, the rest of the sons, the East Indians, the Japanese, the Chinese, the Persians, the Iranians, all these nations have to keep us down, man. All right. Now, I know that we got Israelites among those people, but I'm talking about structurally, their governments come together to keep our people down. Okay. It's in the scriptures. But now we're living in a time now where, basically Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai is gonna, raise us back up. He's gonna raise us back up. So let me play this here.
My sister plays for Jamaica, and me, well, when people ask about our athleticism and sporting successes, I usually point to my heritage.
Why are Jamaicans and the descendants of Jamaicans the best athletes, netballers, cricketers, and pretty much everything else we try? In the decades of Jamaican dominance in sprinting, from Fraser Price to Bolt to Blake, the accessibility for young people to good coaching and a path to success are a big part of the story.
Looking at the sports science of Jamaican athleticism, a study from Duke and Howard University found that the centre of gravity of those of West African origins is 3% higher than those of white people, benefiting them in their ability to fall forward while running, and also suggesting longer legs on average. It also suggested this gave black athletes a 1.5% disadvantage while swimming. And a 2025 study found that a variant of the GALNT13 gene was higher in endurance athletes, throwers and sprinters, with 38% of African populations having this gene compared to 14% of Europeans. These anthropomorphic and physiological advantages were exploited by plantation owners and slave traders.
Now he mentioned some science there that Esau and his universities came up with, like during slavery, for example, because he's going to mention slavery here as well. But during slavery, Esau was doing experiments on our people, right? Measuring the skull and measuring the bicep, measuring all sorts, the thigh thickness, the speed that they can run, the jumping, all this stuff, right? So now what they like to try and say is now, genetically, because I've heard this argument that, genetically, Negroes are superior genetically due to slavery and the breeding from slavery, etc. No, that's not true. We've always been superior, even during the time of King David. When look, man, the times when we weren't in captivity, we were superior to them, man. So that's all bullshit. That whole, because they were out in the fields working, etc., over time, that built up the modern Jake that you see today. No, that's just how our people are, all right? The scriptures tell you that. Okay, But you know, Esau with his science, you know, all he does is experiment on our people. And slavery, during the time of slavery, all they had was free reign to experiment on us, even till this day. Right? So it weren't because of slavery that our people, you know, have these superior genetics. All right, it's just we're born that Israelites are born that way. Okay, it's in us, it's in our genealogy. All right? Because we're the sons of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, we're the sons of the Lord, man.
Like the Harpers who owned Cork Abbey in Africa, the largest and strongest were forced onto boats and taken to the Americas. And for centuries, these enslaved people were systematically forced to breed at the landowner's command for profit. Whilst not forgetting the horrific legacy of this scientific testing and abuse, it does not define us. And today, British-born descendants of Jamaican and American plantations dominate in athletics like Dina Escher-Smith and Matthew Hudson-Smith, but also like footballers Marcus Rashford, bobsled and Micah Moore, singers like Georgia Smith, authors like
That's what they...
Carla, politicians like Diane Abbott, and businessmen like Levi Roots. The diversity of...
they're all Masons, by the way. Levi Roots, Diane Abbott. But that's another story, you know. They got the deals. But anyway, you know, obviously, because that whole narrative that because of slavery is why we're in all these sports and dominating, because our genetics over time with the breeding and slavery. No, that's not true. That's not true, man. We're just a superior people, all right, from birth, all right? But a lot of our people, they'll acquaint, you know, a lot of Esau's nonsense, they'll mix it in with why we're superior, etc. No, we're superior because we're the sons of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So this is Genesis 25 and 23. And the Lord said unto her, said unto who? Said unto Rebecca, right? Two nations, because this is the story of Jacob and Esau when you read up, but I just want to get to this point. It said, and the Lord said unto her, two nations are in thy womb, and two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. Yeah, so the one people shall be... Two nations are in thy womb. All right? Because they're basically... Jacob and Esau were twins, but they were... I forgot the word for it. They're basically twins, but that don't look like one another. One came out looking like what you see today, what you call modern day so-called white people, and the other one came out like what you see today, looking like so-called Negroes, okay? Paternal twins, I believe that's what it's called, right? So two nations are in thy womb, all right? Yeah, two different people, two whole different mindsets, whole different physiology, all of that. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, we used to always go into this. Esau likes to eat his meat with blood in it. Jake likes to eat their meats cooked. Esau likes to cave dive and climb mountains and that. And Jake is more of just a relaxed, chilled people, dwelling in tents. Like today, Jake like to chill in the crib, or go to a nice venue to chill. We're not like people that want to be in... Bear with me one second.
Hello, Moto.
Yeah, that was just Satan, man. Phone call. Right? So it says, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. All right? So the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. So the elder being came out first. Esau came out first. All right? And the elder shall serve the younger, meaning what? That they were going to serve, in the end days, they were going to serve our people, the Israelites. All right? Which is what we're coming into now. That's the prophecy. But for the Lord also gave Esau his kingdom, gave him the fatness of the earth to rule, which is why these so-called white people, they're on top today. So to cut the story, not to cut the story short, but to make it plainer, so-called white people today that you see walking around the planet Earth that are ruling in different parts of the world, they are the descendants of Esau, Edom. All right? So-called Negroes today in the Americas that was brought there in slavery, all right, and our descendants, but let's just say the so-called Negroes for the main part are the tribe of Judah. That would represent Israel. And then you got the Latinos, the Native Americans, we're all one people, all right, the Israelites. So that's what it says here. It says, and the elder shall serve the younger. So the elder being Esau is going to serve us in the end, basically, when Yahushua returns, which is what the times we're living in. You can see the times of the world because you can see the climate of this world, the way things are going, all right? things are all messed up. It ain't looking good in this world, man. Okay? Things are all messed up and the end is near. The end is near. It says, and when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb, and the first came out red all over like an hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. So that's it on that. But the point is, there you go. So the point is the two nations are in thy womb. One people being stronger than the other people, which is clearly our people. Right? We're stronger than Esau, man. We're stronger than the Edomites. Okay? We're stronger than so-called white people, man. All right? However you want to look at it, physically, mentally. But the power of our people is really, mentally we're stronger. Well, really, the elect, really. But even all of our people, we're mentally stronger than Esau and the other nations. Because no other people could go through the things that we've gone through and we still continue to go through in this society and this system. All right? Slavery up until now. All the hurdles they've thrown in our way, all the stumbling blocks they've tried to do, all the ways they've tried to destroy the Israelites, and we're still here. All right? If that was another nation, the other nations are so weak, they would have been done away with years ago, man. You know what I'm saying? Put a bunch of East Indians in hardcore slavery on slave ships, bring them to another country, make them serve, split them up from their families. They would have perished a long time ago if that's another nation. But, you know, the Lord created us different. One people shall be stronger than the other. So we're stronger physically and we're stronger mentally. All right? So let me read this here as well. Okay? This is Ecclesiastes 10 and 7. Ecclesiastes 10 and 7. It says, well, I'll read from 6. Ecclesiastes 10 and 6. It says, folly is set in great dignity and the rich sit in a low place. Yeah, folly is set in great dignity. This society, you know, is all about folly. All right? Party and bullshit, nonsense, complete nonsense that's going on in this society. All right? Which is the folly. So folly is set in great dignity. Okay? And the rich sit in low place. Yeah, and the rich sit in low place. What's that? What does that mean? The rich sitting in low place means, you know, basically it's going into us as a people, the Israelites, you know, so-called Negroes, so-called Latinos, so-called Native American people. We're in the bottom of society, man. We're the rich, but we're sitting in a low place. We're the princes, I was just gonna say, but we're sitting in a low place because the Lord put our enemies over us as a punishment. So folly is set in great dignity. Yeah, this society is all about folly, man. Just look at how the Edomites rule this kingdom. It's all folly, man. Okay. And then it says, I have seen servants upon horses and princes walking as servants upon the earth. Yeah, so the Lord said that. He said, I've seen servants upon the horses. Okay? So there's servants upon horses. That's these Edomites. The horse represents power, a position of power. So Esau is the servant and he's in the authority seat, you know, currently. Okay? The Edomites, they're in the authority. So they're the wicked and they're on the horse, they're on that horsepower. They're the ones on top. Okay? It says, I have seen servants upon horses and princes walking as servants upon the earth. And the princes are the Israelites, Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans. So it ain't no coincidence that we dominate every field that we get into. All right? But then see, because Jake has now dominated the sports world, what Esau likes to say is, okay, they're physically better than us. But then we're smarter because what they like to do is Esau tries to control every field and narrative. But then the fact that they're not even smarter than us, what proves that is all of these high-ranking international businesses, they always hire a Jake, especially like on the creative side of things. Why? For the ideas, because Jake thinks outside of the box, man. We're natural creators, all right? So, you know, but the point I'm getting into, even with fields where you have to use your brain, he tries to control that, but then Jake still managed to get in there. And there's always a Jake when you look deep into it. Like a lot of these consoles that are created, they always like to put it down to the Japanese, or the Japanese are so smart, blah, blah, blah. But a lot of these consoles are made by Israelites. Like Super Nintendo, I think that was a Jake that made that. All these things like consoles we use, man, computer games and shit like that, was made by Jake when you look into stuff, when you look deeper into it. Like electronics and stuff, the field of electronics, engineering. All right, a lot of our people are heavy into that. But you'll never see that on the mainstream. All right. See, so that's what Esau likes to do. He likes to push them narratives. Oh, okay, cool. They're good at sports, but they're not very smart. But basically all these lies of Esau is being smashed now, man. All right, it's coming out. It's becoming evident that we're just a better people, man. All right, and it's happening now where a lot of these so-called white women they want to get down with Jake, man. You be seeing it. There was one video I saw where it's like a white woman, and the man asked her, "Who would you want to have children with?" And she said, "You know, in the future I want to have children with a so-called black man because I want my line to continue, and in order for them to continue, the child needs melanin because the melanin will basically preserve them in the future." So obviously she's going off with the line part because the line's through the man, but she's made a good point. She said that having kids with melanin is the future, and she's right. So that's what you're seeing. What you're seeing now is a lot of these so-called white women, they're just getting down with Jake at a mass rate now. All right. So these are the signs that we're coming into. All right. You can see it anyway. So anyway, I've seen servants upon horses and princes walking as servants upon the earth. Yeah. So we're the princes, man. Okay. The Israelites, but we're in the lowest state right now, and our enemies are on top. But that's soon gonna change, man. So let me read this here. Revelation 3:9. Revelation 3 verse 9. It says, "Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and to worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee." Yeah, so that that's the future. All right. Who's the synagogue of Satan? That's talking about the juicy people, man. They've claimed the heritage that ain't theirs. They've said they're the superior people. They basically claimed our heritage, right? And they've held they don't believe in the Bible, but they've tried to say they're the people of the Lord. They're better than everybody else. But the fact is, the real people of the Lord have been in a lower state, or what you call the ghetto, in the low parts of society all over the world, all right? But primarily in America. So, the Lord said he's going to make them of the synagogue of Satan. So that's talking about them juicy people, man. He said they're the synagogue of Satan. It says, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Yeah, and they've been telling a massive lie on the planet Earth, which is now being found out. But do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and to worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee. And that's what the Lord's getting ready to do. He's going to make them come and worship before the real Israelites' feet. All right? The hour cometh. What did the Lord say to that Samaritan woman? The hour cometh, where basically he said, we know what we believe, for salvation is of the Jews. And he was talking about the real Israelites. So we're coming into that time. But, I just wanted to just quickly do a video on that. The one people being, stronger than the other people, which is our people being stronger than Esau. Right? And it ain't due to slavery, us going into slavery and the breeding farms Esau had, etc., etc. That's just that's just what happens when you're captive, man. When you're held captive, the people that hold you captive, they have complete reign over you, man. Okay? So we're going to do the same to Esau. But the point is, we're better than them because the Lord made it so from the beginning, man. So with that, I'm going to say all praises unto Yahweh, B'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, B'Hashem, Ruchah Kodash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. And shalom to the hopeful elect Akim that are teaching this word. Shalom, Yahweh, B'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, B'Hashem, Ruchah Kodash. Shalom, shalom.